I do my best. It seems that sometimes when I am extremely busy with things, God has moved to a lower spot on my list of priorities. That's never how it should be, but that's how it is sometimes. One of the most important things I have ever done is taken time to find certain activities that revitalize my relationship with God. When I'm having an unusually busy or stressful week, going on a long run or practicing trumpet or piano can help return me to a serene state with a stronger connection to God. I think that this is one of the most important things we can do for our faith. It's very necessary to maintain strong ties with God. And until we can do that, we can't live our lives in a fully trusting way. When looking for answers to questions about life and faith, the Bible is, of course, always a good place to turn. This topic seems to fit perfectly with the passage from Luke chapter 8, verses 22 through 25, which reads, "One day he got into a boat with his disciples, and he said to them, 'Let us go across to the other side of the lake.' So they put out, and while they were sailing, he fell asleep. A windstorm swept down on the lake, and the boat was filling with water, and they were in danger. They went to him and woke him up, shouting, 'Master, Master, we are perishing!' And he woke up and rebuked the wind and raging waves. They ceased, and there was a calm. He said to them, 'Where is your faith?' They were afraid and amazed, and said to one another, 'Who then is this, that he commands even the winds and the water, and they obey him?'" This passage shows the raw and glorious power of the Lord. During this storm that led to white-capped waves and panicked sailors, Jesus protected them. He didn't only keep them safe, he completely removed them from danger. When we can trust and obey God, we get to experience a peace and love that nothing else can bring. As these sailors did, we can receive that fatherly protection that we all desire. While attending a Christian youth conference here in Manhattan a couple months ago, I was able to hear Carlos Whitaker speak. He is a Christian writer and speaker who has offered many impactful messages. One of his books, Getting Rid of What's Really Holding You Back, offers insight on exactly what is inhibiting us from achieving that contentment that God promises us. Whitaker claims that while it's different for every person, we are all in the same situation. We do what it takes to cope with our weaknesses. If you have a habit that you're not proud of, it is typically the result of a bigger problem. He compares our coping mechanisms to a spider web and the underlying problem to a spider. Take a drug addict or an alcoholic for an example. These people may try to quit their habit, but they're simply knocking down the web. The spider, the bigger problem, is still there. Maybe they use drugs or alcohol to drown out a less than desirable job, rough family life, or traumatic experience. These are the spiders of our lives. The easy way for these people to cope with their webs is by turning to drugs or alcohol. Fully breaking the habit may be impossible until the spider of their lives has been identified. It can be the same for all of us. Maybe this is exactly what we need to do to achieve the full peace and joy promised to us in the Bible. Your struggles don't have to be as pronounced as a person that struggles with addiction, but can be just as overwhelming to you. This week, I challenge you to identify exactly what the webs are in your life. After you have found your webs, discover your spider. The first step is to pray. You may not be able to see what this issue is that you struggle with. At this point, the only person that might be able to help you with this is God, because he knows you better than you know yourself. Don't just talk to God, but listen for a response. Listen to what he has to say to you. It may not be a voice that you hear clearly speaking in your head. It may be something that somebody else says that seems so undoubtedly correct to you. It may be a random act of kindness dealt to you by a complete stranger. Listen to him. After you've done all of this, Go the extra step. Create a plan. Execute a plan. Find God if you have lost him. Maybe find him for the first time. Maybe you're just looking for a way to strengthen your relationship with him. We can only completely trust and obey him when we can find times to talk to God, trust him in the storms of life, and kill the spiders in our life.
Good morning, all. My name is Brianna Dowling, and this Youth Sunday, I was asked to give a sermon on trusting and obeying God. And just like any good 16-year-old would, I put it off and thought, oh, I've done this before, it'll be easy. Yeah, I was wrong. Trusting in God is just something that's so natural. It's like breathing, but I had to ask myself why I do. And the answer is not as simple as I led myself to believe. But simply, I trust in God because I don't know what I'd do if I didn't. He's been my rescue in more situations than I can count, and he's blessed me with more than I deserve. He's given me true love through my little sisters, who are my greatest blessings of all. He sacrificed his son Jesus so that we can all be forgiven. And how could you not trust in such a loving God? Psalm 62, verse 8 says, "Trust in him at all times. Pour out your hearts to him, for God is our refuge." My mom always tells me to give my problems up to God. In the midst of my anger and anxiety, she'll just say, give it up to God, and I can't be mad anymore. So I'll pour my heart out to God, and he'll give me no more reasons to be anxious. In all of our lives, in the midst of our darkest points, God is the light to guide us.